Hello, my name is Liene and welcome back to my channel. It's June wrap-up. June was pretty good reading month. I read 7 books and I enjoyed basically all of them. One, I don't know what I think about it, but the rest were really good. So, as always, I don't know, the month ends and when I want to talk about the books I read, the first books I have read in that month, I don't remember. So it is the case for this month too. But let's go through the books I read in June. The first one was Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean. In this world we have humans and we have magical beings that humans, or more like the emperor, wants to destroy and control. They have to be registered and have a collar so they know who they are and they can't use their power, magical power. So, but our main character is from a village that is not registered. She can turn into a monster. But the rest of the time, she looks like a regular human. She's brought up to go to the palace to participate in a tournament, in a 4-season thing where girls from all over the country can come to the palace, only human girls though, and compete, and the one who survives all 4 seasonal rooms will be the next queen and will marry the crown prince. And the main character is brought up to do so, but there is a twist to the reason why. Not to really be the future queen, but to do something else. And yeah, it's a story where she goes to the palace, and of course nothing goes like the original plan. It is about friendship, about betrayal, about figuring out who you are and accepting yourself, about rebellion, a lot of things. And it was really good. I really enjoyed the main character and her struggles and the friendships she made. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I think it is definitely a book worth reading, and I don't see people talking about it. It is a standalone. It was a quite quick read, and I definitely recommend if you need enjoyable fantasy. Next I have The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. This is a story about August and his first 15 lives, as the title clearly says. So he relives his life over and over again. He's born, he lives, he dies, and he's born again at the moment, like when he was born the first time. As you can imagine, the first life is the easiest, kind of, because you just live through your life and in the end you die. But the second one, because you remember your previous lives, is the hardest because you don't know what's going on. It's not like you remember immediately, like it took a few years to remember kind of everything, but you remember things. And imagining that you are just a little kid and you remember kind of the things that has never happened in your timeline now, but has happened before to you. It's scary. So yeah, this is story about his 15 lives, and there is kind of a mystery too involved, because the book starts with his 11th life, and on his deathbed a little girl shows up and tells him that the world is ending sooner than it should. And that kind of starts an exploration of what is happening and why it is happening and who is changing the future. And it was really interesting. I liked seeing Harry discovering the things he discovered and being conflicted with himself and if he's doing the right things, and exploring different kind of scenarios for his life, because you have the opportunity to learn a lot of things because you can learn one thing in one life and something completely different in another, but you still have the knowledge, the memory from the other life. And definitely really enjoyed the book, and I want to try something more by this author. I know there is more books. Next, I have my favorite book for the month, and it is Animal Farm by George Orwell. It was really good. I hadn't read it before, yes. I just read it for the first time ever, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good. It is set in a farm where animals take over the farm and people are scared away, and yeah. It is interesting because it starts that we are equal, but eventually we are not our equal. And it is so like, I believe there are people who can't see behind the animals, that the animals are like, you can replace those animals with humans and it would be exactly the same. And you can like draw parallels with the history. If you know what has happened in the history, you see how these things happen in here. And it is not surprising, the ideas that come in those animals' minds. So yeah, it was really interesting and I really enjoyed it. This was first published in 1945 and it was banned in Soviet Union. And my country was for 50 years in Soviet Union. So yeah, if you know the history, you know how similar, in some instances, identical things are that was then and is in this book. So it's just amazing how someone can write something so precise. Like, I don't know, I'm still like, I'm a mind blown. I don't know if that's the right expression, but it is a really good book, and I definitely want to read 1984 by this author, because this is the first book I have read by Orwell, but I definitely want to read more. Next, I have Writebearer by Jordan Ifueko. This is a fantasy story, first in a duology. I don't know how to explain this book. I have tried a couple of times now, but I fail. So it is set in a world where there is this council who kind of decides things that are happening. And a council is made of the king and 10 other people, 11 other people from different like parts of the kingdom. They all have some kind of a magical power. And when the king is small, like when he is just a kid, he chooses his council, and they have this connection where they feel each other and they have to stay together all the time. They grew up together and like spend the rest of their lives really close to each other. The main character is sent to be the crown princess, like to try and be crown princess, chosen one for the council. And it's about those kids, the next council kids, how they are chosen and the things they go through. And there's something behind the main character that is like, she's trying to fight. So it is really interesting, but yeah, I struggle to explain and describe the book because I don't know how to do it. I really liked it, but I don't know how to talk about it. Last books I read for this month were ebooks, and the first one is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily Exarpan. This is a story about grief, about a girl who lost her mother. I like stories about grief because it is usually like how differently we each deal with grief. That there is no one way to deal with the sadness and with the memories, with the thoughts that come to us when we are grieving. The main character in this book goes to Taiwan and learns more about her grandparents that she has never met because of her mother's decisions. and she learns things about her mother, her past, and her family. I really like that she went to Taiwan. I like learning new things about different countries and cultures, and you definitely could do it here. A really interesting book about family, about learning to accept things that have happened and not blame yourself for everything. But yeah, I think if you like books about grief, I would recommend you reading this one because it was a good one. Then the next book that I'm really confused about and I don't know what I think about it is The Legend of the Golden Raven by Kay Ancrum. This is a 1.5 book for The Wicker King. It's kind of set after, but more like I feel it's set during the book, like that story. And there is like kind of two parts. There is the present day with the boys, and then there is the legend. And I was really confused, not about the legend part. It was a really interesting legend about two kings and one going missing and things happening in that kingdom. And then the present part with the boys, that was really confusing and I didn't understand what was going on. So I don't know what I think about the book. I can't say that it is a bad or a good book because I didn't understand it fully, but yeah, I read it. And the last book I read was Love and Other Things by Christina C. Jones. And this is a romance book that contains 3 different love stories. And it was really good. I really liked it. There was I think the last one was the one that I didn't particularly enjoy that much because it deals with cheating, and that is one thing I really don't like in romance books and in general in books, cheating. So yeah, but the other stories were really interesting. I think I needed something light and romantic, and I found it in this book. I don't know what else I can say. Just 3 different women, 3 different men, but at the same time they are all some way connected. So I think it was a really good romance book, romance stories. If you need something light, something easy and short, because they were quite short, then definitely pick this one up and you won't be disappointed. I hope. This is it. I struggled through this video a lot because either I'm not fully awake yet and I can't think properly or what, but I struggled with my thoughts. But I'm done. So yeah, this is it for the wrap-up. Please let me know, what was your favorite read in June? And if you don't know what to say, please leave me a heart emoji, whatever color you want. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you in the next one. Bye!